this is the stuntydm with another part of my FoundryVTT campaign, which is to transpose a D&D campaign into Foundry. So this is called Rosewald. This is part 2. What I'm doing on this one, I am focusing on getting my location set up, linking them with the NPCs, and also getting some NPCs set up along with shops. So I have done a little bit of work already. So first thing I want to say is I have added a couple of modules. These will be used in the video. I'll go through them as I come across, as I need to. The next thing is going to be, so the next thing I've done is I've already set up journal entries. It's no fun to watch me type those out. So what I've done, I've made a parent folder, which is really good for your basic discipline to keep everything all together. So I've got a major Rosewald folder, I've got a locations folder now, and NPCs. So those are all tied together. So the reason you do this is if you need to access, if you put all NPCs in one folder, all journal entries, all location entries, you're going to be filtering through them forever to find the right location you're at. So say we go to a different town and you need to find a specific NPC from that location, you've got to go into that folder and search through it like mad and find which one. Whereas if you do it like this, I know that I'm in Rosewald, just need to open it, open up NPCs, and there they all are. So I've got my locations. These all match the denotions on here. So the first one I'm going to show you, first module I'm going to show you, let me find its name because I'm terrible at remembering what they're called. It is automatic journal icons. That's it. So the reason I like this is if you number your journal entries, when you drag them onto the map, you can do this. You can see I've actually already done this on here. So I'll drag this on just to show you how it sets up. You get this extra section at the bottom, which is use automatic icon. You can choose how the design looks and color, foreground color, background color, text size, and that sort of thing. The text style you want to use, and you update it and it'll add it to onto the map. So you can see here I've got my locations already linked up. I can now just hover over them and I can see these locations, open them up, and I got them there. The other thing I've done is you'll notice I've added links. The way you do this is in your journal, you literally just grab another journal entry, drag it across and drop it in. You can see here, so I'll delete this one and I'll add Sir Augustus again. So I'll add Sir Augustus here. You see it's added a link. Now all I'll do is save it, and it's giving me this, click it, and it opens Sir Augustus's journal entry. It can be done the same with character sheets. So if you want to open a specific character sheet, you can literally tell it, drop that token on there, click, and it will do it for you. It's really useful. So these are all set up. So this is the reason I've done it like this. The journal entries my players won't see. They'll see the icons on the map, but they won't see the details, whereas I want to be able to go, okay, I can hover over, that's what it is. Like I said, I will give them a key at some point. It might go over here, just to have like a list of names. But when I hover over these, I can see them and I can pop them open and give them description and tell them what they're seeing, what they're doing, who's in there, put in extra notes in the journal if I need to. So if they do something that's that impacts that NPC or that location, I can quickly go in that journal and make a note as I'm in there. They don't need to see all this. They don't need to see the journal entries and the NPC details. Obviously, a lot of time they shouldn't see that sort of stuff. So I've done like this. So these are all sorted. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make my shops. So the shops, I'm using another module. It's the first time I've done it like this. So I mentioned last video that like things like taverns and shops like that, a lot of people like to make it very immersive, have a new map. You go to that location, you go inside the store, there's a token NPC, you go interact with the NPC and you can see all the pretty background. That's nice, it's a way of doing it. I think stuff like that, I don't need it. I don't think players need it, unless there is a purpose going into that shop and you want to spend some time in there. I don't think you need a map for it. For me, if the players want to go shopping, just make it a token. Drop a token onto the map or a cat and go, here, buy what you want. You don't need to go into such detail unless you really want to, and some of your players really want to get into that. So if you do have players who really want to get into the nitty-gritty of like role-playing, oh, I'm going to barter this, this and this, then yeah, by all means make that. Personally, I don't really go that way. I think shopping's one of those things that should be done either between sessions or quickly done in a session. Go like, here's it, I'm talking, we're doing stuff, we'll take 10 minutes, go do what you want. The other thing is things like taverns, similar thing. I don't make inside taverns to something go wander around the building unless there's a purpose. If I think it's going to be an encounter in there that's going to have importance, like a combat encounter, then yeah, I'll make one. I might also get a basically a landing page. So if they do want to go to the tavern and they want to have these conversations and discuss things in the pub or tavern out of the way, I can have something there that we just go, okay, here's some background, give them a bit of background noise, a bit of ambience, and let them talk away. That I think is suitable. So if the party's like, okay, we want to go to the tavern and discuss our next steps on this journey or this clue we've gotten, brilliant. Here's a tavern image, here's crackling fire, bit of background noise, some music in the background. Here we go, you guys role play your hearts out. That I think is absolutely fine, but I don't think I need to make a tavern up that says, hey, here's 20 NPC tokens that are always in here for whatever reason, well, no matter what time of day you turn up. It's just a lot of effort and it takes up space. For me, the way I'm going to do taverns on here is the same way I'm going to do shops. It's going to be a tile. That tile will link to a token, the token which will then open up the shopper section, and they can then purchase what they want. So I will show you that now. Okay, so if we go over here, so you can already see that I've started. I do prepare some of these events because no one needs to sit here and watch me make folders for a video that's boring as fuck. So once again, I've got this and I'm trying to color code things because it makes it easier for me. If I know that I need to go quickly to Rosewald, I know I can quickly go, okay, Rosewald there, it's pink, it's rose, brilliant, there, I found it. So on here I've got Rosewald and I've got NPCs. See, it's a blank folder. So on this, what I want to do is pop this open. Make sure this is a non-player character. And call it, so I'm going to call this, I'm going to do Pickwick first. Pickwick's. So, this is Pickwick's. The other thing I have done, I've added a couple of sheets that you'll see on here. These are preference. So the first one, tidy sheets. I love tidy sheets for my character sheets. It has some really useful things. This has like a tidy sheet NPC. And then there's two ones on here. So because this is going to be a shop, I specifically don't need it to be a full-blown NPC. So the one I like to use is loot sheet. Save that. And you can see here what's happened, it's changed it. So what loot sheet NPC does is it makes it so that you can either make basically like a treasure chest, something like that, or you can make, excuse the cat, you can make a treasure chest, like something that people can go loot out of, or you can make something that people can go buy things from. So you have loot or merchant. So obviously on this one, we're going to go with merchant. And it changes the way it looks. So if I had PCs on here, so once you had like assigned characters, you can then like update the permissions and stuff like that. You can randomize tables, what they're doing on here, what kind of, you can roll what kind of supplies and stuff you have. I haven't really done it like that. I might do it at some point. But you got all that sort of thing. But this is your inventory. So the first thing I'm going to do is find myself a nice generic image. I think I found one previously. Let's try, not sundries. Environment. Settlement. Let's look at the pictures. I think I went for, yeah, we'll go for wooden stall. So I'm going to use this symbol to denote all of my shops. So whenever I have a shop, a shop at all, this will be what I use to denote these. So to add something to it, I'm not going to go through all of it and add everything, because again, no one's come here to watch me go through and go, oh, here's this item, oh, we'll be having this item. So all you need to do is go to compendium, and you'll have built into the SRD, you have this compendium called items. And you can see it comes with loads of stuff, and all you do is you drag it, drop it. That's it. So the way this works, the item itself, as long as it has a gold cost and a weight and a quantity even, these will show up for you automatically. So this is set by the system. You can change it. So if I go to the abacus, if I edit it, I can easily make the price. An abacus is 5 here. If I close that, now see it says 5 gold. You can do stuff like that. You then have the ability to, so this is for the player side, they can buy the whole stack, or they can just buy one item. So the way that works is if they when they have a character sheet open, if they choose to click the whole stack, they'll buy all of it in one go, expending enough gold or silver or whatever to cover all of it. If they buy one, they buy one. Obviously the last two, the players don't see. Those are for DMs to delete item and to edit it. Like I said, this is really useful for players. If they say, I'm going to go to Pickwick's, I can just go, okay, right, on the town map, you do what you want to, you're going to go to Pickwick's. They can pop it open for themselves. They can go through and buy whatever they want to, and it deducts the gold automatically. So the moment when you have when the character sheet's there, it will deduct gold or the cost from their gold list or silver or whatever it costs. It'll just take it off for them, which is really nice. I can also change the modifier. So if I decided Pickwick's is actually quite expensive, so let's make it 150. See, now it's 7.5 gold. So it gives this module gives a nice bit of flexibility when setting things like shops up. So we're going to use this token now. Let me keep it open there. We're going to use it to pop something open. So go back to the map. So this is Pickwick's here. So the one module I'm going to use now is called Monk's Active Tiles. So to use this, you go to the tile option. You click to make a tile, so place a tile. All I'm going to do is I'm going to select this location here. Now it gives me all this. This is the triggers. This is the monk's ability. I believe animation is as well. So first of all, what I'm going to do is I have added to my library a general use icon. And that is what I'm going to use to denote shops. So now I don't want it to cover everything because that'll be covering that on the map. I'm going to fade it to a point where you can see that there's something there. Make it a bit faded. Yeah. So monks. So triggers. So what this does, monks tiles allows you to basically set a series of triggers up when the tile is interacted with. And you can set up who does it and how does it. So first of all, you make it active. You can restrict who. So I could make a tile that is only for me. So if I want to, like a trap, if I want to trigger something, I can click it and it will trigger something. Either popping a token up, a character sheet, something like that. Obviously all players, controlled by anyone, doesn't matter. And this is how you trigger it. So by standard it goes on entry. I want it to be on click. So these are really useful for things like traps. So like on enter, exit, movement, stopping in, clicking, hovering. You can set all these sort of things up. You can set it once per token. So again, you could do this with treasure chests. You can make it so that you place a treasure chest, players click on it, it pops open the treasure and they can get it from there. Stuff like that. It has a lot of flexibility. There is a YouTuber and Foundry, probably guru this at the moment, called 𝐿𝐴𝐿𝐿𝐴𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿, I think it is. He's done a video on this module recently, showing how to do a trap or a secret doorway, and it's insane. Literally, he shows you how to go into like a tunnel, making sounds and stuff. So there's a lot of flexibility you can do with it. So once you've chosen how you want it to interact, you go to this little button here, add, and this is what the actual trigger is. So your trigger is click, and this is what happens when you click the trigger. So I want it to open a journal or actor sheet, but you can see there's a lot of options. So you can do it. This can be used to change scenes. So if you do want to have a transition from like a teleporter, like a stairwell, people go into the stairwell and they appear on the next map. Definitely can do that stuff like that. So for me, I want it to be open. Now I believe you could type in there, but it's not letting me. So instead, you get this little icon. It's now I have to go pick something. So it automatically reverts to the journal. I want to go to character sheet. I want to pick 𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿. You see there, it's picked it. Show it to everyone. I only want it to trigger to the triggering player. We don't all need to see it. If that player wants to go to the shop, other players aren't. I don't want it popping up on their screen, like blocking their view or distracting them from doing something. So I want it to be triggering player only, and I update. You can see now it's put a pathway trigger. So this tells me when I open this is what this is triggering. I can update. If I go to this page, you can see that the tile itself has vanished. You can't interact, I can't move it. But the moment I do this, opens up 𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿. So this will allow players this will denote like shops and stuff like that. I'll do some for taverns. So this will be marked as a tavern. I might just leave it so it's a bit faded so you can see that there's an image beneath, but it's there just so they know. Now I'm going to go through and find images and mark all these on the map so that people can trigger those and go through them. With taverns, I'm going to make it so there is a menu. So I'm going to just make an item for my items, add those into it and go, here's the item here's a meal, and here's how much a night stay costs, so they can basically purchase it. And they'll be able to do that. So those are those. I'm going to go through that later today. I'm not going to go through it now. You don't need to see me doing that sort of stuff. It is quite simple. I will show you how to do items for like characters and stuff like that at a later date. I don't think you need to see it at this stage. There's not really much to it. It'll just be a placeholder effectively for something. I'd rather show you that when I need to do something. But what I am going to show you is how to make normal NPCs. So I feel with the way I've got my town set out, I do not need to have individual tokens for each NPC. There is no point me having tokens for shopkeepers if I'm not going to be having those maps where you go into it and interact in that manner. So the way I'm going to do it instead, I'm going to look at my list and think, okay, well, who would actually have a reason to have a token? The ones I can think off the top of my head, guards, they would need to have a token. The Rosewald, who is the town captain, the guard, captain of the guard. In my town, that title is held as the Rosewald. And the 𝐟𝐢𝐧𝐝, who is the leader of the town. And also probably the priest of Moradin, who resides in the temple. Those four, well, 3 characters and guards, make sense to have tokens. The reason being, if it ever comes to a combat situation, I can then throw them out there and have them there. To me, that makes a lot of sense and is a lot of fun to kind of have those. So I'm gonna go through making a couple of those. So I'll do guards, and then you'll get the gist from the rest of it. You do not need to see me sit here and make 5 different types of NPCs that are very similar. So there are 2 ways of doing this. You can either make your own NPC from scratch, following whatever books you have. If you have D&D Beyond, or the Monster Manual, or Kobold's Press stuff, any of that stuff, you just fill out the form. It's like a character sheet. We all know how to do these. It's nothing new. Or you can do it like this. So if we go to Monsters SRD, so if I use the SRD, you'll see I have a list of various things. They do not have images for everything due to copyright stuff and that, I believe. So, but I want, do we have any guards? We do. We have a guard. All I do is import So you can see that I've now got a guard imported, and automatically it's filled all this stuff out. Now technically there's nothing else I really need to do at this stage. I personally do not like the top-down tokens, so I will change that at some point into a 2D portrait. I much prefer the portraits with the faces on them as opposed to the top-down stuff, because I find top-down tokens can be confusing at points. You can lose certain, especially if they're dark tokens and you've got a dark background. I have played games before where I've looked at it and gone, I can't see this fucker for life or day of me, and you end up having to highlight everyone just to find where they are. So I always use a circular token with a portrait, so I will go out somewhere and source some portrait from somewhere, and I'll be doing that. But for now I'm going to leave that, so I'm going to change this to the tidy sheets NPC, because I prefer the layout of that. See, it looks a little bit different, but it allows me to have a bit more control, and I'm much more used to this. So that's really all I need to do for guard, is change that. You can change the name, you can change all the details here, but that's all the NPCs. But I'll show you one more, and I will show you editing one. So, do we have a veteran? We do have a veteran, perfect. So, I'm going to import the veteran. And the veteran is actually going to be my captain, so that is the Rosewald. So let's have a look at her and see what the Rosewald would look like. So we'll go to my journals, NPCs, Elena, and image. So we've got a picture of what she looks like. Now to me that doesn't look like split mail, that looks probably more like half plate. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to my items, go half plate. If we go to her features, let's remove her split mail, give her a half plate. Effectively the same, but it looks a bit nicer. That appears to be a rapier as opposed to a long sword. So I would say she's a fast fighter rather than a heavy fighter. So let's give her a rapier. Remove the longsword. I will leave the crossbow with her because she'll probably have some kind of range. The short sword makes sense if you can have a rapier, so if she needs to, she can dual wield and counter. Although it might be more, it would be more along the lines of a long dirk rather than a short sword itself. That's all flavour. So again, I can just go into here and just, rather than short sword, just call it a dirk. It's effectively a dagger, I believe, but that'll do. So multi-attack stuff, that's all fine. So I can go in here and change this. So go into the text and go Rosewald to rapier attacks. Dirk. Now you do not need to do this at all. It is just showing you how to edit things. So I guess you probably go through that. So on these are all features and actors. So all these features and items can be edited. You just go into the SRD you need. So there's loads of them on here. So you got things like items, monster features. So if you wanted to give someone an acid spray ability, it's in the SRD. All these are part of the D&D 5e SRD, which is why they're on here. Bear in mind, if you have stuff that is not SRD, you will need to build it yourself. It does not come pre-built with any of that stuff at all. And I would advise, don't go asking people for it, because that's copyright. If you do start contacting other people, I see it a lot on the Foundry Discord saying, oh, does anyone have access to this? The response is, we can't give you that, it's copyright. Until Foundry gets given a license by Wizards to actually be able to sell the official product, then they can't show that sort of stuff on there. It's not a big deal. It's really easy to build stuff, and like again, I will go through that at a later date and show you all the details. So you don't have to do any of this stuff. So I see her. So what we're gonna do is swap her strength around with her dex. I see her being a more dexterous fighter rather than combat fighter. So maybe her half plate is Elven Maid, passed down from Rosewarden to Rosewarden. And it is Mithril, making it lighter, so giving her more to move around. But you can see with the higher dex, she has AC 17, which makes her pretty tanky. I can see this character being someone who dances around with her rapier, being able to take hits when she needs to, and then when she needs to, two blades wades into it. So that's really all I need to change for her. I don't think she's an NPC. She's not going to be. I'm not going to go through and change all these details or make all this. I mean, I might go rather than athletics, might be acrobatics, but I can see she's still got a decent strength to her. So I will close that. So for the Rosewarden, that would be the exact. For the Reeve, I would do similar. And then for the Priest of Moradin, who lives at the temple, or the Forge of the Three Smiths, sorry, I would make him a spellcaster, so I would just drag spells onto there. And it's the exact same process. If you go to Spellbook, all you do is you go to your SRD, search for a spell you want, drag and drop, it will complete the details. And again, if you have anything you need to be using, it's not SRD, you build it yourself and drop it in, and I'll add to it. So I think that'll do for now. I think it's got a good start. I think Rosewald itself is starting to shape up relatively quickly, actually. I'm just playing around with this now. But yeah, it is starting to shape up quite nicely, I think. It's amazing how fast things will move once you actually get a few things in place. Admittedly, I have done some of the background work on this. I've already built the characters' backstory. I know what I want from the town. I've got a map, so that all that helps. So one big thing I would say before doing any of this, think about it, sit down, plan that stuff out, go to Foundry and build it into it. This is what I'm doing. I will be building as I go going forward. But yeah, so I think that'll do for this week. Rambling. So you'll notice from my videos, I ramble a lot. I hope it doesn't put people off too much, and I hope you enjoy the video. But yeah, thanks a lot for watching. Next week I'll cover something new, and hopefully flesh this town out a little bit more. And when I come back, there'll be some more stuff in the towns that I'll have added. All the extra stuff I've talked about today, and you'll see what I've padded the town out, and you can see all the extra stuff. So thanks a lot for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, subscribe, and I'll catch you in all the next one.